the other day I was thinking, well, I'm going to do it for myself. I'm going to go back to when did I have my first memory of stuff that wasn't personal, but outside of the world that was affecting me. And one of the first earliest memories was the Cuban Missile Crisis. So I don't know what you know about that, but my father was military, and he was a captain of a destroyer. And I'm like, Cuban Missile Crisis, I must have been 7 or 8, somewhere in there. We could look it up, what year the missile crisis was. But living in Connecticut, and my father is the captain of a destroyer. And so John F. Kennedy sends my father, down to Cuba, not just my father, but other fathers who are capped to do the blockade of Cuba. And so there I am, I'm like 7 years old, 8, I don't know, going, the hell's going on? Cuba, I had to know, like Cuba and JFK and blah, I was like, I didn't know, I'm 7 or 8, I didn't know what was going on. But that was one of the first things where the world came into my little 7 or 8-year-old bubble. And that was the Cold War, and that was getting rid of the missiles in Cuba. And so my father was one of the ones that blockaded, kept his ship in front of the freighters, these Soviet freighters.
So how many years did your father serve?
Oh, he's an interesting guy, because he served for 30 years in the military, and he went from being an enlisted man. I don't know if you know what that is, but you just walk in off the street.
Right? Oh, it's just like
this is this low of the low.
Yeah.
During World War II, and then rose through the ranks to become an officer, and then finally, very proud of him because he retired after 30 years in the Navy, and just wildly decorated with tons of service ribbons and that kind of stuff. It was just something, just as a kid, you want to be proud of your parents and stuff. And in the military, it's easy because you can tell what rank they are. So it's like, oh, my dad's an officer. It's like, snobbish.
Did a lot of your friends have fathers or family members?
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
Too
But
now?
I mean, on military bases, then you'd be friends with everybody. You'd other friends had officer. My other their dads would be officers, but some of my other their dads would be enlisted. But in the military, it's this real pecking order.
Yeah.
We've talked about social class in here. I mean, it's a real class system.
Yeah, to see who's up top,
who's the
higher,
high and who's the low.
Yeah.
But as a kid, you're just kids, and it's like, I mean, you knew their dad was an enlisted guy, but they were your friends.
Yeah.
I wanted to also that same time period, because this is again the world coming in, as a kid. It's like you're just a kid going. Whoa.
It just shocks you, right?
And the other one was John F. Kennedy's assassination. This is 1963, so I'm 8 years old. Okay, so I'm on the school bus, and then it gets announced on the school bus, the president has been killed, and me, just shows you how stupid I am, or how ignorant, or just how my parents were Republican.
Yeah.
JFK is Democrat. And so my first reaction, and this is on the school bus, and I remember this to this day, was, oh good, now maybe a Republican will be president. That's what I said. Now, the president had just been shot. So the next, that weekend or whatever it was, I forget how the days work, but I was at home with my parents. We're watching TV. Okay, the whole world is watching TV. The president had been killed and all the news that was happening. So we're watching Lee Harvey Oswald get transferred. This is on TV live, 63, whatever. Getting transferred from the jail there in Dallas to someplace else. I don't know where he was going. Saw him get murdered on TV.
On TV.
I'm 8 years old.
Was it live or something?
Live. Dang. Live murder on TV. That was pretty wild.
Yes.
Because you're watching this, and as a kid, you're like, he just got shot, and then my parents were all freaked out because
covering your eyes and stuff.
Yeah, well, it was a little late then. So that was another one where the world, the bigger world, comes in on my little 8-year-old world.
Yeah.
So then my question for people like you is, what's crashed in on your world? What, it's like, and I'm thinking about, you were born in like
99.
99.
Yeah.
So you don't remember the election of 2000. You don't remember 2001.
9/11 or
You
anything
don't
like
remember
that.
any of that stuff. And then there was the war in Afghanistan and Iraq. You don't remember. You're like 5, 6. When I think you start remembering, though, is the same time
Like
I started
8,
remembering at 7,
7, 8.
8, somewhere in there. And then what was happening to you might have been personal, might have been the recession, because it might have affected your family.
Yeah.
Because it affected a lot of families. And I don't know what your family does, or I don't know anything about you. I just